What is up, guys? It's your boy Hive Boomer Cacus, and today, we have an insane exotic catalyst to showcase. It's for the Ex Diris Exotic Grenade Launcher, which is the current seasonal exotic weapon for Season of the Witch within Destiny 2. So you can acquire this thing either immediately if you pay for the season, or from level 35 of the season's pass if you're a free-to-play player. So this is a very accessible weapon. A lot of people have this thing, and because it is the seasonal exotic, that means Banshee44 the Gunsmith hands out a exotic quest where you can go and acquire its catalyst guaranteed. Now, these quests are usually pretty lengthy, and this one is no exception. You have to get a lot of kills with the Ex Diris, and honestly, that's pretty easy to do. It's a pretty good weapon in my opinion, but also you have to complete a ton of activities. Guys, I did a lot of strikes. A lot of strikes to end up making this video, right? So once you do eventually get that quest done, you're not quite done with the catalyst. You will have to get a bunch more kills with the Ex Diris in order to actually apply that exotic catalyst. So head to Shirochi or any high enemy density area, or just use it normally. But once you do get this exotic catalyst, as I said, this is actually a game changer for this weapon. It turns this weapon from decent to actually very, very desirable, especially within this season. So what the heck is going on? Well, to quickly go over the base perks of this weapon to get everyone on the same page, intrinsically it has this weapon enrages when dealing or taking sustained damage, gaining increased rate of fire when enraged. You also have a unique magazine perk that means it draws from reserves. You'll never actually need to reload this thing, and you also have loyal moths where on final blows it sends out an electric moth that will explode and blind enemies. So the catalyst does the following: weapon enrages faster while amplified, and final blows with this weapon make you amplified. Now that second part is actually nutty because it turns the Ex Diris into arguably the easiest way to get amplified and to stay amplified in the entire game. You just need a kill, and it gives you straight 15 seconds of amplified, and you don't have to wait for it to finish the cooldown or anything. Any subsequent kills just take the timer right back up to 15 seconds. So you can go an entire activity being amplified 100% of the time. And you might be wondering, wait a minute, does it give you amplified even if you're on a different element of subclass? Well, as you can see, I'm on my Strand Titan, I get a kill, and boom, I get amplified. In fact, that's what you're seeing for the background gameplay, is my Strand Titan absolutely sprinting Usain Bolton through this strike because I have amplified all the time because of the Ex Diris. That is very, very good. But, of course, that at a base level is just scratching the surface, because we can actually, since amplified is a keyword, it's an important buff within ARC subclasses, so we can actually build further into it, enhancing it, dare I say, amplifying your capabilities here. If you are running an ARC subclass, there's a couple of fragments that make this weapon absolutely insane with its catalyst. The first one is going to be Spark of Amplitude. Rapidly defeating targets while you're amplified creates an orb of power. So basically, you're turning this weapon into a darn orb generator, right? Because you are always amplified, and it's very easy to get multi-kills with this weapon. Now, of course, you can just use Arc Siphon instead, or you can use Arc Siphon in addition to this fragment for Omega Insane Orb generation, or you could use this fragment instead of Arc Siphon, freeing up more energy and slots for your helmet. Now you can run things like Heavy and Special Ammo Finder, whereas previously you couldn't, right? So that's already quite useful. But there's another fragment that's even more bananas, and that is Spark of Beacons. While you are amplified, your arc special weapon final blows create a blinding explosion. Bruh. So, when you're using the Ex Diris, an arc special weapon that with the catalyst continuously makes you amplified. You have 100% amplified uptime as long as you're getting kills every once in a while. Now, your final blows are also blinding everything nearby. Now, you may be thinking you already have the blinding moth, and you do, but that's kind of the point, and that's the insanity. The moth takes a while to spawn, and it will often go off and seek out other enemies that could be even further away, an entirely different group of enemies. Like, it will seek pretty far. So now you just, with Spark of Beacons, essentially have turned the Ex Diris into a blinding grenade launcher. Like, you are consistently blinding enemies. You just need that one kill. Everything nearby blinded. You're finishing them off. You're doing whatever. The moth is going, blinding even more guys. Like, you just have an incredible amount of crowd control that you didn't have before. Not to mention, guys, you can also combine this with yet another new synergy that came out this season. I already did a full video on this, but it is what you're seeing in the background gameplay, and that is the brand new Mothkeeper's Wraps Exotic Gauntlets for the Hunter. So these will actually completely replace your grenade with a moth grenade. You throw it and 2 moths come out. You can either get 2 arc blinding moths, or you can get 1 arc blinding moth and a void healing moth that will actually go to you and give you an overshield, or if there's no enemies nearby, you will get 2 void moths. But actually, when you're using the Mothkeeper's Wraps, every single time you get a final blow with the Ex Diris, it spawns 1 arc moth like it normally would and 1 void moth. So think about this, guys. With all these synergies together with the Catalyst, you get a final blow. You kill an acolyte, a thrall, right? When you kill that thrall, 2 moths are going to spawn. One is going to go seek out explode and blind enemies. The other is going to come to you and heal you. You're also going to create a blinding explosion for any enemies nearby. They're now blinded. You're also going to instantly become amplified. Oh, and you can also gain a massive boost to recovery and 50% damage resistance to incoming arc damage. How do you do that? Well, it's one of the brand new seasonal artifact perks. And it's yet another synergy making the Ex Diris Exotic Catalyst more desirable. So it's called Elemental Embrace. Subclass elemental buffs grant you bonus recovery and damage resistance against combatant attacks of the matching element type. So I can test it right here against this fallen sniper who's shooting an arc bullet at me. I take this much damage, right, for just 1 hit. Now, of course, low light, I'm not taking a ton of damage, but you can see that chunk. Then I simply get a kill with the Ex Diris. I instantly become amplified, and now, as you can see, same conditions, same shot from the same enemy, boom. I take significantly less damage. And if you can compare these 2 health bars, right, kind of before and after, amplified and not, I'm taking about 50% less damage, which would coincide with what I'm hearing, that this provides a 50% damage reduction against incoming arc damage. That's very good. I may dive more into this seasonal artifact perk in a separate video, but it does provide some great passive benefits. Anything that reduces incoming damage potentially by 50%, even if it's just like a matching element. I mean, this counteracts wizards and a bunch of stuff, screebs that you're facing in seasonal activities, right? So it is absolutely like great passive benefits. And yes, you could get these benefits just by normally running an arc subclass and getting amplified. But again, with the Catalyst, nothing is going to make you amplified faster than the Ex Diris. And so all those things combine, guys, to make the Ex Diris with the Catalyst, I think, extremely desirable. 100% worth slogging out some, Gambit, Crucible, or Vanguard strikes in order to get this Catalyst, because I think it is actually quite good. And so that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.